Most businesses know exactly what their website costs to build. Very few know what it's costing them to keep. There is a difference and it compounds. At EAT.dev, we build business websites that bring in more leads, stay fast, and never need maintenance. We also have a free tier where we do the project completely for free in exchange for a video testimonial and case study. This video is about the cost structure most businesses inherit without knowing it the moment they launch on the wrong architecture. Here is what the video is actually about: lower lifetime ownership cost, not a lower build fee, not a cheaper agency, lower total cost across the entire time the website is running. Most companies think about website cost as a one time event. You pay the build fee, the project closes, the invoice is settled, done. But that's only the beginning of the cost structure. What comes after the launch and what determines the real price, most businesses never had explained to them before they signed. You launched a website. At some point in the following weeks or months, you got an email from your hosting provider, or from your agency, or from a plugin vendor. Something needed an update, something needed renewal, something had expired, something had broken. You forwarded it, or you clicked through, or you asked someone to deal with it, and you moved on. It wasn't a big deal, but that wasn't one event. It was the beginning of a pattern. Plugin updates, core updates, theme updates, security patch notifications, hosting renewals, SSL certificates, backup system licenses, performance plugin subscriptions, form plugin renewals, image optimization tools, caching layer configurations. Each of these is small. Each of them individually is completely manageable, but none of them were in the original budget. And the hidden website costs, the ones that don't appear on the build invoice, accumulate quietly in the background for months and years in the form of time, money, and attention the business owner never budgeted for. You didn't get a line item for this. There was no section in the proposal called ongoing maintenance obligations. You got the price for a website, and then the real cost started. This is the maintenance tax, and most companies, even the ones managing it reasonably well, have no accurate sense of what it's actually costing them. Here's what most people assume: maintenance is just a part of having a website, it's the cost of doing business. Everyone pays it, so it's just a fact of life. That assumption is worth examining because it's not actually universal. The maintenance tax doesn't exist because websites are complicated by nature. It exists because of a specific architectural decision, one that was probably made for you without a conversation about its long term cost, that introduced a level of complexity your website didn't need. A website built on a CMS, a content management system, that requires a server, a database, a plugin ecosystem, a theme layer, and a security model on top of all of it, is a system with a lot of moving parts. And every moving part has a maintenance obligation attached to it. That is not a bug in the system. That is the system. It was built that way. And the ongoing cost was never explained upfront because the person who built it earns money when you need their help maintaining it. The maintenance tax is not an inevitable cost of having a website. It is an inevitable cost of having a website on architecture that requires maintenance. And not every website requires that architecture. Most business websites, companies that need to present their products and services, display their portfolio, show their credentials, give buyers a place to find their contact information, do not have a use case that requires a database, a plugin stack, and a dynamic rendering server running 24 hours a day. They inherited that architecture. They didn't choose it with full information. Think about the difference between a car and an appliance. A car is a remarkable machine. It can take you almost anywhere, but it comes with ongoing obligations. Oil changes, tire rotations, inspections, registration renewals, insurance. These are not optional, they are built into the cost of ownership. If you want the car to work, you maintain it regularly, forever. A refrigerator, on the other hand, runs in the background. It keeps things cold. You don't need to service it on a schedule. You don't need a technician on retainer. You don't get email reminders about refrigerator updates. It simply does its job quietly without asking anything of you. Now, both are valuable, both have their place. The question isn't whether cars are bad or appliances are better. The question is, what does your website actually need to do? If your website needs to dynamically pull from a database, personalize content for logged in users, and process complex transactions in real time, then yes, you need something closer to the car. You need the moving parts, and you accept the maintenance obligations that come with them. But if your website needs to present your company professionally, load fast, and give a buyer enough information to take the next step, then what you actually need is the appliance. You need something that runs, that doesn't ask for attention, that doesn't generate unplanned expenses, that doesn't send you notifications at inconvenient times. Most business websites were built like cars when they should have been built like appliances, not because the business needed the complexity, but because the industry defaults to it. And the business owner, who had no reason to question the recommendation, is now paying the ongoing maintenance cost of a car for a website that needed to sit still and do one job reliably. Let me ground this in something concrete. A typical WordPress based business website will accumulate between $600 and $2,000 in direct annual costs after launch. Not the build fee, the ongoing costs: hosting, premium plugins, theme licenses, security tools, backup services. And that's on the low end for companies managing things carefully. Add in the time. If someone in the business is handling the updates, even an hour a month on plugin updates, security checks, and troubleshooting, that's 12 hours a year. At a conservative value of the owner's time, That's another 600 to $1,200 gone without appearing on any invoice. And that's before anything breaks. When something does break, a plugin conflict after an update, a caching issue that makes the site load wrong, or a form that stops sending emails, you're looking at an unplanned expense. Could be $100, could be $500. Depends on who you call, how fast you want it fixed, and how complicated the problem turned out to be. Over 3 years, the hidden website costs on a typical WordPress build can easily exceed the original build fee, not the ongoing retainer, the fees and time that weren't in any contract that just accumulated. A zero maintenance architecture eliminates most of this by design. No plugins to update, no server to monitor, no database to secure, no unplanned expenses from interdependency conflicts. The performance holds, the security holds, the site simply runs. That's not a savings promise. That's the structural consequence of fewer moving parts. To be clear, this isn't true for every website. There are businesses where the ongoing maintenance cost is genuinely justified by what the website does. E commerce platforms with high transaction volumes, membership sites with hundreds of active users, applications that personalize content in real time. Even in those cases, there's an important distinction. Needing e commerce doesn't automatically mean that you should build and maintain the system yourself. For most businesses, even ones doing meaningful transaction volume, the better decision is to use a managed platform, something like Shopify, where the infrastructure, security, updates, and reliability are handled for you. Because the moment you decide to build and operate that system yourself, you're not just running your business anymore, you're running software. And that only makes sense at a certain scale when the business is large enough to justify a dedicated team, ongoing engineering cost, and the operational overhead that comes with it. Until then, complexity is something you rent, not something you own. For those businesses, the complexity serves a real function, whether you own it or rent it. The maintenance tax is the cost of something that's actually running. That's a different conversation. What I'm describing is the business that has a company website, pages that explain what they do, who they serve, how to reach them, built on a system that is designed for something more complex. The maintenance cost doesn't correspond to anything the business actually needs from the website. That is the gap worth closing, not with more aggressive maintenance, but with a different architectural starting point. If you're genuinely running a complex web application, the ongoing cost makes sense. If you are running a business website, a commercial trust signal, and paying the same ongoing cost, that's unnecessary complexity you inherited, not chose. The website maintenance budget most companies never made, the one they ended up paying anyway, wasn't inevitable, it was architectural. Lower lifetime ownership cost, zero maintenance, faster, more reliable performance. Those aren't promises, they are the natural outcome of a system with fewer things to break. Most companies haven't been shown that the alternative exists.